Hello, everyone. Sorry for the odd setup today. I'm just hungry and I felt like recording right now. And Mr. Katie's saying hi. But today's video is about why the term PunchANazi and the idea behind it is just straight out a bad idea, and why it's that way now and why it wasn't that way, say, 40 years ago. First, we have to discuss what people think of when they hear the word Nazi and what it means. Nazis is the short term for National Socialist. And while no one thinks about a National Socialist when they hear the term Nazi, that is still something people need to watch out for. The nationalism part led to the racism of the Aryan race, and everyone knows that a widespread socialism just doesn't work. But whenever you hear Nazi, the first thing that comes to anyone's minds are genocide or Holocaust or mass murder on a large scale. And there's a good reason for that. The Nazis, when they had power, that's what they did. But now we've run out of insults that actually have any sting to them. 40 years ago, we didn't. Back then, everyone was a lot more racist and sexist, so the insults that they had stung a bit harder. And as we've grown more intolerant of that form of intolerance, we don't accept it into our society, we've begun rejecting it. We've also begun rejecting terms that would be useful, such as a homophobe. Now, anyone is a homophobe if they simply don't like looking at two gay people kissing. That's not homophobia. Homophobia is not being able to be in the same room as them, not even being able to think about that. Not being turned on by the thought of some two dudes kissing, that is not homophobia. But Nazi, now any Trump supporter, pro-gun advocate, or free speech advocate has been called a Nazi. I have been called a Nazi back when Trump first started to try to make peace with North Korea. I said, I don't think it's going to happen, but good for him, try to make peace. And I was told to change my last name to Swastika. And that if I'm a Nazi and I fight for free speech, I don't very much care for guns. I'm more globalist than anything else. I find nationalism to be horrific, and I don't want to genocide any in particular person. I just don't care about the human race as a species. But the idea of people calling other people Nazi now has lost all of its touch. Because if every person on the right wing is a Nazi, and the left goes so far left that everyone in the center, like me, looks like a Nazi, then everyone's a Nazi. And if everyone's a Nazi, no one's a Nazi. The reason why the idea of PunchANazi is so bad is because when people like myself are labeled Nazi, you can't identify who the real Nazis are. And if you can't identify who the real Nazis are, you're not going to solve the problem. And punching the Nazi won't solve the problem even if you find the Nazi. Take how the Klan has died down over the past few decades. There's almost no Klan members left. Why? Not because we started killing them all, but because people started going to Klan meetings and telling them, hey, why do you think the white race is superior? And breaking down their arguments and showing them, your race isn't superior, you're just another skin tone than me. There was one man who, I remember seeing a TED Talk about him. He convinced 200 Klan members that being in the Klan is a bad idea. That's how you get rid of Nazis and racists and homophobes. You don't tell them, I'm going to punch you if you have these bad ideas, because that's fascism. Fascism, and you have to describe to these people what the actual problem in their ideas are. Now, I've seen a lot of people say that punching a Nazi, which Antifa pushes a lot, is the right way to go. Antifa is like the World War II veterans. They are nothing like each other. The Allied forces fought Hitler, actual Nazis that tried to take over the world. Antifa finds people like Andy Ngo and beats the fuck out of them for disagreeing with them. So how is he a Nazi? The way that they justify their violence is that they attack fascism. But fascism is violence against another person based on their ideas and you telling them that they can't have those ideas. Now, usually the definition says that it's a right-wing idea, but it can be used for the left. And Antifa has become the monster that they thought that they were fighting to begin with. They themselves have become the fascists. But I doubt this video will convince anyone, but it's still my reasoning on why the idea of PunchANazi is just plain out wrong.